This is the AEW Dynamite April 23, 2025 full show results video which takes place at New Orleans Lakefront Arena. The show opens with Tony Schiavone in the ring to introduce Master P, and P makes his entrance and introduces your new AEW World Trios champions, the Ops. The Ops make their entrance and Samoa Joe says it's good to be in the building tonight because the Ops have come here to celebrate, and he thanks his big brother Master P for welcoming them to his city and puts over his work to help student athletes out. Death Rider's music plays and Marina Shafir is shown making her way through the crowd right before Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta attack the Ops. Moxley has Master P surrounded and stares him down, but the Master is unbothered and Joe puts the champ in the coquina clutch and P gets a few shots and while Samoa chokes Moxley out. Master P gets back on the mic and says this is New Orleans, they want all the smoke, and there's about to be a problem, and tells Joe to put Moxley to sleep. The Elite comes down to make the save for the Death Riders, then Shafir helps Moxley outright as Shane Swerve Strickland arrives. The Elite try to run away but Kenny Omega is on the stage, chair in hand. The five babyfaces hold court and Joe says it's nice to see Swerve again and if Moxley wants him, he's got him, and he's gonna choke him out and take his AEW World Championship back. Renee Paquette interviews the Patriarchy backstage and she congratulates Nick Wayne on winning the Ring of Honor World Television Championship, but Christian Cage interrupts and says he deserves the congratulations and takes the title off of Nick's shoulder and says he did all the work of stoking the fires and he celebrated extensively with Mother Wayne. He berates Nick and says this is why you listen to him, and Wayne counters right back with when you stick to the plan, you actually win championships, and grabs his title back. Then Christian says he loves his family and walks off. Then we saw a match between Mark Briscoe versus Ricochet, and the result of this match was Mark Briscoe defeated Ricochet by pinfall with a victory roll pin. Post-match, Ricochet attacks Briscoe with a steel chair before going and getting the golden scissors. Kevin Knight makes the save, ducks the scissors, and ducks Ricochet. Knight steps on the scissors and Ricochet runs away, then Kevin goes and checks on Mark and raises his hand. Back from the commercial, Tony Schiavone introduces FTR, but Stokely Hathaway makes his entrance and says there's been a change of plans. FTR are living legends, top guys, and he's introducing them. He introduces himself and introduces the elephant in the room. FTR were suspended and fined for accidentally hitting someone and touching Tony Schiavone. He is officially their agent as of right now and he directs Schiavone to do his job. Cash Wheeler thanks Mr. Hathaway for doing a great job and says last week, Daniel Garcia gave them no choice and he made his own decision. 2.0 got in front of them and came at them and said they wanted to fight, and where they come from, if you want to fight, you gotta be ready to fight. Dax Harwood asks the crowd what's with the hostility and says there's a couple of living legends in the house and he shouts the Rock and Roll Express out and calls Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson into the ring. They legendary tag team oblige them and slide into the ring and shake hands. Dax says they only have a little bit of time and he puts the Express over as one of the greatest tag teams of all time and he wants to know what they think their greatest match ever is. Before Ricky can answer, he says for him it's Philadelphia against the Midnight Express. Dax says 40 years of career and they're still going, and how old are they? He guesses 108 and 109 and says they were running hard in the 80s and what was their favorite experience. Morton grabs the mic and says he's not gonna let Harwood embarrass them in front of the whole wrestling world. Stokely steps in and says they have a brand new shirt he thinks they'll enjoy, and it has the FTR logo with Living Legend Killers written underneath, and then FTR attacks the Rock and Roll Express and lays Ricky out with the Spike Piledriver. Undisputed Kingdom make the save as FTR flee out into the crowd. The next match happened between Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey versus Young Bucks, and the result of this match was Young Bucks won the match by pinfall with a BTE trigger on Kevin Knight. Renee Paquette interviews Toni Storm backstage and she talks about red carpeting for The Empire Strikes Back at the TCM Film Festival. She's a lover and a fighter and she's not gonna spend the entire weekend cucking around, so attention slop tarts. She's going to have an eliminator on Collision for any bitch willing to try, and Queen Aminata answers her challenge. The Hurt Syndicate make their entrance and MVP gets on the mic and makes an official Hurt Syndicate announcement. They are the Hurt Syndicate and they hurt people, and as a matter of fact, they're so good at hurting people that every single tag team that's challenged them is still at home convalescing from their injuries. Gates of Agony stepped up and said they like to be hurt, and you won't be seeing them in the near future. Lashley grabs the mic, but there's a commotion and we cut to the Tron, where a supercar rolls up and Maxwell Jacob Friedman gets out and pops the valet in the gentleman's area after giving him his keys. Friedman makes his entrance and says if they want to have a good time for the rest of their lives, all he needs is 3 thumbs up. MVP says they're gonna try this one more time, and he gives his thumbs up and Shelton Benjamin puts his thumb to the side before rolling it up. MJF is so stoked he goes to hug Shelton, but Benjamin shoves him back and says he wants to make it real clear he didn't get the thumbs up for a bunch of broads and a watch. The only reason he got it is because of MVP, and don't forget it. Lashley goes to stick his thumb out and Max makes one last pitch. If he's in the Hurt Syndicate they'll get all the money and the power, and Lashley brings a lot to the table, but there are things Friedman knows that he doesn't. MJF says if he's in the Hurt Syndicate, they won't just run AEW, they'll run all of pro wrestling. He sweetens the pot one last time and offers Lashley the car he drove up in. Bobby smiles, bemused by the whole situation, and he asks to see the keys. Max says the keys are in the back and they agree to go take a walk together. Commentary chats for a moment before we cut to the loading dock where Bobby takes a look at the car. He and Shelton get in and check it out. MJF begs him for the thumbs up, but Lashley gives him the thumbs down and drives off with the car. Max freaks out and Montel tells him to calm down and remember, give the people what they want. Back from the commercial, Renee Paquette interviews Hangman Adam Page backstage and he says the minute he sees Kyle Fletcher he's gonna kick his ass when he sees him, and Maxwell Jacob Friedman rolls up. They trade barbs, and MJF says last time he checked their one-on-one, and next time he's gonna send Seabiscuit to the glue factory, and if he manages to get to the finals, he'll do what he does best, choke. Hangman says he has something Max can choke on, and that's that. The next match happened between Brody King and Will Ospreay versus Don Callis family, and the result of this match was Don Callis family won the match by pinfall with a lateral press from Josh Alexander on Brody King. Post-match the heels put boots to King and Ospreay makes the save but gets overwhelmed by that damn numbers game. After they lay Will out, Kyle Fletcher makes his entrance to come survey the wreckage. Hangman Page makes his entrance but Roppongi Vice appear and blindside him and throw him into the ring with the family. Hangman throwing wild punches, grabbing Kyle by the shirt, the Protostar begs off but numbers win out again and Fletcher hits the brainbuster. In the main event of the show, we saw Owen Hart Foundation Tournament semifinals match between Jamie Hayter versus Chris Statlander, and the result of this match was Jamie Hayter defeated Chris Statlander by pinfall with Haterade. Post-match, TBS champion Mercedes comes to the stage to confront her fellow Owen Hart Tournament finalist, and the show goes off the air. How much you would rate this week's AEW Dynamite show? Tell me in the comments. Do not forget to subscribe the channel for more updates, and thanks for watching.